The Dream Pillow by Nadia Davids at Book Dash. When the stars are out and the moon swings in the sky and the light in my room is low, things are different. The pirate puppet waves his sword, the mango tree bends its branches. Even my teddy becomes a different sort of bear. I keep very still in my cave of blankets, or I call, "Mama! Daddy!" or I jump into their bed. I tell Mama about pirate and tree and bear. You had a really bad dream. What's a dream? When we sleep, we think about our day, but everything gets mixed up. It feels real, but it's not real. It is real. You know, when we read a story together, it's made up, but we laugh or get scared or excited. A dream is the same. You mean a dream is a story? Yes, but it happens at night. You put your head on the pillow, you fall asleep, and then the story happens. So a dream is a story you find in your pillow? Yes. Can I put the stories in my pillow? You can. How? Let's write down all your best stories, fold up the paper, and tuck it inside the pillow. When the stars are out and the moon swings in the sky and the light in my room is low, things are different. The end. The Bounce by Liza Esterhuis at Book Dash. In a little yellow house lived a big black dog. The big black dog loved to bounce. He had everything he could ever need, but Black Dog was unhappy. His human worked most of the day, so they could only play late in the afternoon. In the big house next door lived a little girl and her 2 spotty dogs. One morning, when Black Dog's human left for work, he heard the little girl laughing. It would be fun to have someone to play with, Black Dog sighed. So he started to bounce. He bounced and bounced and bounced until he bounced so high that he landed in the little girl's garden. At first, Black Dog had loads of fun. But then the little girl started pulling tails and twisting ears. "This is no fun," Black Dog yelped. So he started to bounce. He bounced and bounced and bounced until he bounced so high that he landed back in his own garden. In the big house on the other side lived an old lady with a little yellow dog. "I'm sure she won't pull my tail or twist my ears. It would be great to play with her," sighed Black Dog. So he started to bounce. He bounced and bounced and bounced until he bounced so high that he landed in the old lady's garden. At first, the lady scratched Black Dog behind his ears and rubbed his tummy. But after a while, the old lady sat down in her rocking chair and Black Dog got really bored. Yawn. So he started to bounce. He bounced and bounced and bounced until he bounced so high that he landed in his own garden again. When Black Dog's human came home, she didn't pull his tail or sit in a chair scratching his ears. They played his favourite game and she told him how much she'd missed him all day long. I love her and she loves me. I am a lucky dog after all. Black Dog sighed happily as they curled up on the couch together. The end. Small Bird's Big Adventure by Mogau at Book Dash. Small Bird was a very small bird. He was very small and very birdy. Small Bird lived in a beautiful house with the giant. Small Bird loved the giant very much. She was a kind giant. She gave Small Bird lots of toys. Small Bird was sad when the giant wasn't around. So one day, Small Bird went to go and find the giant. Small Bird flew up and up until he could see the whole world. He wanted to find the giant. Where would he land? Small Bird landed in a huge forest filled with trees and flowers and treasure. Small Bird loved playing with the shiny jewels. But where was the giant? Small Bird walked into a vast field of snow. The snow was white and soft. Small Bird loved rolling around on the cool ground. But where was the giant? This time, Small Bird flew even higher into the sky. He flew among the stars and galaxies. He saw the moon. He saw a comet. But where was the giant? From way up high, with his sharp birdie eyes, Small Bird saw something. What could it be? Small Bird dived down, down, down. Where would he land? Small Bird landed right in the giant's hands. He was so happy to see her. "I love you, giant," he shrieked. The giant held Small Bird close to her. "I love you too," the giant said. The end. Luna and the Bottle of Starlight by Jade Maître. One day, by the side of the road, Luna found a bottle of starlight. It shimmered and glistened in pinpricks of light and whispering glimmers. It was smoky blue and beautiful. Luna leaned over. She wanted to see it more closely. But when she tried to pick up the bottle, it slipped from her fingers and smashed. With a wild giggle, the stars streaked from the glass and escaped into the sky. Luna cried and leapt as she tried to catch the stars. They laughed at her from their places so high in the air. From above, Luna's dancing made her look like an angry little ant. They knew she couldn't reach them, and they were happy to be free. For the stars had been so long in the bottle that the air around them felt cool and wide. They gleamed. It was so nice to be in that vast black universe with space to twinkle and breathe. The bottle lay in shards of dark glass at Luna's feet. She scooped up the pieces of glass and put them in her pocket. She felt a need to hide what she had done. She didn't know who the stars belonged to, and if the owner would be angry when they found out what had happened. Perhaps, if she could catch them, she could put them in her pocket. Her glance fell upon a long vine hanging quietly from a nearby tree. Being a thrifty elf, she found it no trouble to fashion a lasso and throw it high into the air. But the lasso was lazy and limp. It plummeted to the ground in a matter of moments. Next, her eyes wandered to a baobab tree. Perhaps if she leapt and caught them in her fingers, she thought. But climbing high into the limbs of the tree, she realized that she was no more airy than the vine had been. Lacking wings, she thumped into the earth like a soggy sack. The stars twittered and the passing birds sniggered mirthfully. The ladybirds rumbled sly little laugh. It felt that nobody would help Luna return the stars, and all were having a good joke at her expense. Luna sat on a stump and began to cry. At just that moment, a tiny rabbit poked its head from the bushes and sniffed the air. It had heard Luna's sobbing and wanted to know what was the matter. "Why are you crying?" the rabbit asked the elf. "I found a bottle and accidentally dropped it. All the stars escaped," said Luna tearfully. "Ah, but that's no reason to cry," said the rabbit. "What good does crying do?" "Perhaps if I cry enough, I will make a lake and float high enough to catch them," Luna sniffed. The little rabbit leaned back against a leaf. "Seems to me that there are just too many," he said. "Even if you could reach them, there's just some things you can't do. You can't collect all the grains of sand on a beach. You can't drink all the water in the sea. You will not be able to capture all those stars and put them back," he said. "Well, what am I to do?" said Luna plaintively. Then a sudden passion overtook her. She stamped her foot. "Oh, I wish I could take time back," she said. "I wish I had never touched that bottle." "But you can't," said the rabbit, now chewing thoughtfully on a clover which he had retrieved from behind his ear. "Nothing can be taken back. Once something is, it just is. Like the wind and the sunrise, like love and loss. It just is. You can't help it. You've just got to find a new way." With her hands in her pockets, Luna could feel the sharp shards of glass pressing into her fingers. "Well, what am I to do with this bottle?" she asked at last. "It's all broken. It won't work anymore." But the clever rabbit just twitched its nose, nodded goodbye, and disappeared into the bushes. Luna was alone. Only those mocking stars glittered above her. Occasionally, and in impulsive fever of boastfulness, they leapt to the earth in a bright streak, where they plummeted earthwards, falling into cracks in rocks, lakes, sand and furs. But that is another story. In the present, Luna sat on the mossy ground and took the shards from her pocket. She laid them in the shape of a bottle, but they would no longer take the shape they had once had. So she began to play with them. Soon she found they could make a skyscraper, a window, a puddle. When she fashioned them into the shape of a mirror, something magical happened. A high, pure note sounded from the glass. Then, from the bushes all around, a small army of snails emerged, their shells shining, and they weaved and slid all over the surface. Their slime was an enchanted kind that glued the pieces together. The bottle was a bottle, but now it was also a mirror. A magical mirror, shining and perfect, with only small cracks to show that it had once been a bottle that held the stars. And when Luna picked it up to look at it, something marvelous happened. She suddenly saw all the stars reflected in it, but close enough that she could touch them. The mirror let her touch the stars. The stars giggled and spun, the heavens revolved. It happened high above, and it happened in the magical mirror held in Luna's hands. Something had broken, but something beautiful had happened. The stars were free, and the light was everywhere, and Luna held the reflection of the entire universe within her hands. The end. The Little Lie by Jade Maître. Far, far away, in a land where the wind blew in gusts over green sloping hills and the sea bashed joyfully on the rocks, lived a little boy called Luca. Luca lived in a lighthouse with no windows save for one at the very top where his bedroom was and where the lamp let out its glare to tell the ships that it was there. There was not very much to read in a lighthouse, and it was not easy to read either, especially if you wanted to read in your bedroom, because in the daytime the window was taken up by the large lamp and the sun found it hard to get in. In the night time, Luca could only read a word every few seconds when the lamp would swish its way past and everything would go blinding for a moment. But Luca loved reading, and so he did his best. He went outside and read in the garden, though the weather was blustery, and the wind would turn the pages before he could. He read in the kitchen too, by the light from the oven, when his mother was cooking jelly rolls and casseroles. In this way, Luca read all 4 books in the lighthouse, and when he had finished, he read them again. Yet, living in a lighthouse with only 4 books is no life for a small boy who loves to read. His parents misunderstood his yearning and thought only that he might be lonely, And so, when they met a little girl who lived in a passing submarine, they invited her in to play with him. The little girl was called Lily. She loved to read too, but there is not much room for books in submarines. She only had one book. It was a book about the tides, because her father thought that if they could only fit one book into a submarine, it was useful to have a book that two people could read. Lily loved that book. It had a red cover and it had marks on it because she carried it everywhere. Today, Lily appeared at the door to the lighthouse, clutching the book beneath her arm. "Hello," she said. "Hello," Luca replied. They looked at each other for a long while, Luca in the doorway and Lily on the step. "Are you going to invite her in?" said Luca's mother. And so he did. Once they had eaten, Luca showed Lily his upstairs room. He showed her how the light spun on its base and lit up the whole of the sea. He showed her his 4 books. Lily liked looking at Luca's 4 books, but she did not want to show Luca her own book, which she kept tightly pressed beneath her arm. Luca wanted to ask her to look at it, but he did not know how to ask. At that moment, a huge commotion appeared on the horizon. It was a storm. A big, dark storm, striding across the whipped waves. Lily went very pale as she ran to the window. As she stood against it looking out, she was so worried that the book slipped from under her arm and fell upon the cushions on the floor. But Lily didn't notice. "I have to go," she cried. "Mama and Papa are in the submarine." She ran down the stairs all the way to the bottom and then sprinted across the lawn. Luca watched her little red shoes flying behind her as the storm came in. But although the storm was wild outside his window, Luca felt something very calm and quiet inside, because Luca had seen when Lily dropped the book. But for some reason, Luca hadn't told her, although he could have. He just thought it wouldn't be so bad if he could borrow the book for a while. Lily wouldn't mind. It was just a book. The storm had passed. The sea was bleached and lank, as though tired. Night fell early, and Luca did not tell his parents about the book. "Did you have a good time with Lily?" they asked him. "Yes," Luca said. "What did you do up there in your bedroom?" they asked. "We looked at the lamp," he said. Luca said a little lie. It wasn't something very bad. He just didn't want his parents to know that he had read books with Lily because they might ask about her book. He didn't want them to know about Lily's book because they might tell him to take it back. "Shall we read one of your books tonight before you go to bed?" asked his parents. "No," said Luca. "I'm feeling tired." But Luca wasn't feeling tired. That was another little lie. He wanted to read the book. He went back to his bedroom and read one word every time the lamp flashed past. By midnight he was very tired and had only read 1/3 of the book. But what a wondrous book! He had never known so many things about the tides, when they came in and when they went out, what moon brought what creatures, and what swell could take you to Germany or Guinea. As he turned each page, Luca realised that he never wanted to give the book back. He could see why Lily loved it. Yet the next morning he was very, very tired. He got up out of bed very late. His parents were surprised to see him so sleepy. "Lily came past," they told him. "She asked if she left her book here." Luca felt the blood rush to his face, but it felt like the words came by themselves. "No," he said, "I haven't seen a book." That was the biggest little lie, and it felt like they were coming one on top of the other now, like the waves in a storm. The next night, Luca intended to do the same thing as the first night. He snuck into his bedroom and read Lily's book. The words were as wonderful as ever. But this time, something felt a little different in Luca too. He felt strange when he turned each page. He kept imagining Lily in her submarine, floating in the water, gazing at the black roof with no words on it. How lonely she must feel without her special book. And now Luca had 5. The following morning, the feeling inside him had grown, and it felt like a big, hard lump in his belly. As big and hard as the beautiful book he had stolen. And that heavy feeling felt bad, and he couldn't shake it off. It followed him and made his feet drag. It made his smile feel strange when he smiled at his parents, and his eyes sting, as though he was opening them too wide or not wide enough. As the day passed, Luca slowly knew what he had to do. He felt very sorry that he had not told anyone that he had the book. He didn't know why he had done it, but Lily's book belonged to Lily. He picked the book up, walked all the way to the submarine and asked if he could speak to her. and when Lily popped up the porthole, her face red and sad from crying and missing her book, he gave Lily her book back. "I had it all along," he said. "I wanted to read it, but I didn't tell the truth when you asked if I had it. I'm sorry." It was very hard to say those words to Lily. It made him feel ashamed of himself, even though he didn't know why he'd done it. He worried that Lily would think he was unkind. But instead, Lily's face beamed as she embraced her book once more. "What a lovely thing to tell the truth," she said. "That must have been very hard for you. Thank you, Luca." And Luca suddenly felt as tall as his lighthouse. "Shall we read the book together?" Lily asked. And Luca and Lily became, from that day forwards, the very best of friends. The end. The Great Cake Contest by Lebohang Masango at Bookdash. Lucky loves cake. He is so happy that the Great Cake Contest is in town. "What cake can I bake?" he thinks. "I know, I can make a pancake," shouts Lucky. He walks to Poncho's house to share his idea, but she already beat him to it. Or what if I made a carrot cake, he wonders. He goes to tell Nini his plan, but she had the same idea. What about baking a black forest cake? He rushes to tell Kima what he's come up with, but he's too late. On the way to Nathabi's house, he thinks, "Let me just make a Christmas cake." But Nathabi already made that happen. "What other cake can I bake?" he asks himself. How about a chocolate mousse cake? He arrives at Linda's house, but oh no, he was too slow. Lucky gets an idea. "I will make a roly-poly cake." He gets to Zola's house, but she's way ahead of him. Lucky feels sad when he gets home because he is out of ideas. He asks his family to help him think about what great cake he can bake. Mama, Papa, and his big sister Musa all put their heads together to help him enter the Great Cake Contest. The cake is so big, so wide, so tall that it begins to wobble, 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 and fall. Oh no! Everyone at the Great Cake Contest is covered in cake. Where are the judges? Where are the contestants? Where is Lucky? The judges munch and chomp their way out, and everyone agrees Lucky is the winner of the Great Cake Contest. What cake would you bake? The end. The Best Thing Ever by Melissa Fagan at Bookdash. Muzi loves to build things. He dreams of building the best thing ever. Once he built a shelter for his toys. But it wasn't the best thing ever. Yesterday, he built a bridge for his animals. It was a good thing, but not the best. Today, Muzi is going to visit Ugogo. He is sad. Without his toys, how can he build the best thing ever? At the bus stop, Muzi is amazed. He sees red things and blue things, small things and big things, new things and old things. Muzi has a new idea for building the best thing ever. On the road to Ugogo's, Muzi finds many things, long things and short things, round things and square things. By the riverside, Muzi finds more things, soft things and pointy things, green things and brown things. Look, Muzi, we are here. While Ugogo bakes for the hungry travellers, Muzi builds. Look, Gogo, a new house for you. Oh, Muzi, laughs Gogo, this is the best thing ever. Gogo, Gogo, says Muzi, The world is full of toys. Look what I can build. The end. Night Times by Diane Makings at Book Dash. Good day, Lily of Ladybrand. Good day, Tinama of Takani. You can't catch me. Charge! Follow that dragon. Ha 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 ha. We're going to get you, you slimy Songololo. Attack! Supper time. Please, just 5 more minutes. The end. Let's Have an Inside Day by Lerato Mangeni at Book Dash. Let's have an inside day. A pancake, syrup and berries day. A jump on the bed and twirling day. A dress up like Dad and pictures day. Let's have an inside games day. We'll hide and seek and run and scream, but whisper when we pass Mama's room. Let's have a dancing and singing day. A tickle tummies and eat gummies day. Let's get snuggly and tell stories, fall asleep and get snoring. Because an inside day is a busy day. The end. Grandpa Farouk's Garden by Matthew Khalil at Book Dash. Deep in the city, surrounded by houses and bricks and tar, you'll find Grandpa Farouk's garden. Amir visits Grandpa once a week. He loves the leaves and flowers and trees. Amir helps to water the plants. He helps with the compost and works with his grandpa all day. When they finish, they feast on a harvest of fruit. One day, Grandpa didn't eat his pear. "What's wrong?" asked Amir. "My garden is dying," replied Grandpa. "Why?" asked Amir. "Look closely," said Grandpa. "Some pests are eating the plants." "We need ladybirds," said Grandpa. "They are the bugs that eat the pests that kill the plants. Without ladybirds, the garden will die." "I'll bring you a bug or two," said Amir. For a whole week, Amir looked and searched and collected. He found one ladybird on the sports field, 2 more at the shop, 3 at the park, and 4 behind the TV. Next week, Amir went to visit Grandpa Farouk and showed him his jar of 10 bugs. "You've done well, oh my boy, you've done well," Grandpa said with a tear in his eye. Grandpa was very happy. The ladybirds were very hungry. The ladybirds ate the pests and the garden blossomed. From that day on, Grandpa Farouk's garden did what gardens should do. It grew and grew and grew. The end. Circles by Alex Latimer at Book Dash. On a cliff, there lived a young vulture with his mother. When he was old enough to fly, his mother took him high into the air and they circled together, watching the ground below. "I want to show you something beautiful," she told her son. They saw an old gemsbok staggering through the heat. "Look there, that gemsbok won't last long." Sure enough, the buck collapsed right there and died. The two vultures flew down. "This isn't beautiful," said the young vulture to his mother. "This is horrible." "I know," said his mother. "Death is very difficult and very sad, but it is also beautiful." "No ways," said the young vulture. "Yuck." "Just wait," she said. "We will come back here soon and you will see." The next week, they visited the dead buck. Its skeleton was clean and white, and tiny plants had started to grow between the bones. The week after that, the shoots had grown tall and blossomed. A butterfly sipped at the flowers, and a songololo rested in their shade. A week later, a pair of weavers was picking the leaves to build a nest. Bees were collecting pollen from the blossoms, and a spider had made her home between the buck's horns. And the week after that, they saw a young gemsbok nibbling the tasty shoots. "Well," said the vulture's mother, "look at the life one buck has given. He has given a spider a home and weavers a nest, fed bees and butterflies, sheltered a songololo, and helped the next generation of buck grow strong." The young vulture smiled. The two of them flew back to their nest high up on the cliff. "It is not just our bodies we leave behind when we die," said the mother vulture. "We also leave our lessons and our love and our memories." "Where do we leave all these things?" asked the little vulture. "We leave them in our children and in our family and friends. You are already my green patch on earth, little vulture, and you will be, forever." The end. And Also by Lauren Bukes at Book Dash. Tabo pretends that his bed is a raft on the sea. His little sister Teju says, "Yes, and also there are sharks." "No," says Tabo. Tabo pretends that their taxi is a spaceship. His little sister Teju says, "Yes, and also watch out for shooting stars." "No," says Tabo. Tabo pretends the playground is a jungle. His little sister Teju says, "Yes, and also we are lions." "No," says Tabo. "Oh," says Tabo. "Wait, wow, yes, that's a great idea." "I know," says Teju. Tabo pretends to be a lion. "Roar!" Teju also pretends to be a lion. "Roar!" Tabo pretends the other kids are a river of crocodiles. Teju says, "Yes, and also we can jump on this log to float away." "Yes, and also," Tabo says, "we can slide down the rainbow." Teju says, "Yes, and also watch out for the dinosaurs." Tabo says, "I had the best day playing pretend with you." Teju says, "And also, we should play again tomorrow." The end. When the Fires Came by Jade Maître. One year, before the summer began, the fires did. Ian saw the sky turn amber at sunset. The sun always looked a special way when there was smoke around. The light turned to honey. Bird call ran out across the sand and slopes to say the day was done. His cows quietened and hung their heads. The roos assembled beneath the snow gums. But somewhere over the ridge, a spark had started and was finding the dry bark of bush. When the dark had fallen, you could see a soft glow lighting the hills of the horizon. There was a smell of smoke, soft at first, but as the rim of light grew brighter in the darkness, it turned sharp and bit the senses. It made you feel as though you needed to cough. Ian's dog Dave gave a whimper and put his nose to the floor. Ian knew that the tanks were dry. It hadn't rained in months and months. He knew that you needed water to put out a fire, and he knew that the fires moved fast. Ian got the ute from the garage and Dave hopped in the front seat beside him. They would need to drive to town, call the alarm. There were houses in the area that mightn't have seen the fire yet. Alone, Ian couldn't fight the fire, but maybe together they could. The road to town was bumpy. Ian and Dave bumped up and down together. On the way they saw a koala that had come down from its tree and was sniffing the air, looking worried. Dave stuck his head out of the car and barked, as though telling the koala what was coming. But the koala knew. Animals know these things. In town, lots of neighbours had gathered together. They were choosing people to help in the best way they could. Some were putting on the uniforms of the volunteer fire service and getting ready to drive the truck to the fires, where they'd use their hoses to try and put it out before it got too big. Some were finding safe places for people to sleep, people whose houses were too close to the fire to stay there safely. Some people were collecting old clothes for the animals who would be burnt in the flames, to hold them and make them feel as though they were safe. Animals had claws and could bite if they were afraid, but they would need caring for if their homes were burnt. Everyone needs a home, and some of the animals were already endangered. Every animal possible would need to be saved. Although it was night time, the sky had now turned a deep red. It felt like being on the planet Mars. Ian put on his uniform. He was going in the fire truck. He knew how to use the hose. He knew when to stay and fight a fire, and when to flee because it was too big. He knew how to put on the heavy uniform when the heat was stifling and the smoke stung your eyes, and little embers flew through the air like fireflies in a windstorm. "Stay here, mate," he said to Dave. But Dave whimpered and put his paw on him. Dave wanted to come. So Dave came with Ian and the other firefighters in the truck. The men and women were teachers and shopkeepers, builders and gardeners. It didn't matter what you did for a job. Everyone was working together to put out the flames and save the town, houses, animals and bush. The truck reached the front of the flames. There were embers and thick black smoke. The trees whipped back and forth in the heat of the blaze. Ian and Janine jumped out from the truck and began dragging the heavy hose towards the flames. The fire singed their cheeks. It was angry and deadly. Then their team turned on the water and it surged out towards the flames. But it was so small compared to the towering fire, they saw it turn to steam. It would take a lot of water to put out these flames. Suddenly, Ian heard Dave barking from the truck. He looked up and saw him leaping at the window. Suddenly, Dave jumped from the truck and ran into the towering flames. "Dave!" Ian shouted. But Dave didn't listen. Ian saw his best friend run into the blaze and disappear amid the black smoke and darkness. Ian wanted to go in after Dave, but he couldn't. He needed to hold the hose and keep the water going. Through tears, he kept his hand on the hose. And then suddenly, like a miracle, Ian saw Dave emerging back through the smoke and flames. Dave was badly burnt. In his mouth, he held a baby Joey. The baby Joey was in a bad way. Dave was in a bad way too. The two of them were black with smoke. Dave had tried to save the baby wallaby. He must have seen him from the truck. One of the firefighters took a blanket and wrapped it around the Joey and another blanket around Dave. They waited in the truck until a new team could arrive and take over so they could bring the injured animals back. When they got to town, Dave and the Joey were taken to the animal hospital. Dave recovered and the Joey became his best friend. There were lots of animals, homes and bush saved that day. Some said Dave was a hero. Others say they all were. The end. Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear by Jerry Pinto at Storyweaver. Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear, woke up one day with standing up hair. Now every bear has lots of hair, but a standing up hair is very rare. Ching Ching, Fat Mother Bear, looked at Ming-Ming standing up hair. Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear, what's that hair doing up there? Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear, climbed on top of a toppledy chair to look into a mirror there. By golly and gosh, how does it dare? Ding Ding, Sisterly Bear, took advantage of the hair, tried to plant a flower there. Ming-Ming said, "Don't you dare." Bing Bong, Brotherly Bear, poked about around the hair, pulled another up in the air. "Hey Ming, you have a pair." Tring Tring, Telephone Bear, wanted to plant an antenna there. Ming-Ming, Smart Little Bear, simply said, "Don't you dare." Jing Jang, Disco Bear, wanted to paint that single hair. Shiny here and sparkly there. Ming-Ming said, "I like it bare." Ding Dong, Iron Man Bear, standing up hair, I swear. How the people will stare. Let's shave your head in the public square. Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear, began to like his standing up hair. Let it poke up here and there. Hair should have a bit of flair. Now Bing Bong, Brotherly Bear, and Ding Ding, Sisterly Bear, both want a standing up hair. They use some oil here and there. Ming-Ming, Fat Little Bear, went to bed in his cosy lair. When he woke to the sun's bright glare, the standing up hair just wasn't there. The end. No, by Leora Friedland at Book Dash. No, Cece, it's time to stop playing. Please come inside. No. No, Cece, we need to go to the shops. No. Look at these beautiful butterflies. No. Come help Mama make some rice. No. Let's feed shakes. No. No, Cece, it's bath time. No. No, no, no. No. No, 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 no. How about an ice cream? No. Oh. Not no. Yes. Yummy, yummy. Yay! 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 No, Cece, will you tidy your room? Well, okay. The end. Senzo and the Sun by Sarah McGregor at Book Dash. The morning sun creeps over the horizon and peeps through the leaves, waking Senzo. Gogo's rooster shakes his wings, stretches his neck and crows. Cock-a-lock-a-loo! Senzo can crow too. Cock-a-lock-a-loo! Can you? The sun is bright and warm. Senzo is ready for school. He takes Gogo's hand. The road is busy. Taxis zip past and toot their horns. Beep, 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 beep. Senzo can toot too. Beep, 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 beep. Can you? The sun is high in the sky. School is over and Senzo's friends play on the grass. They stretch out their arms and run down the hill. Whee! Whee! Senzo can run too. Whee! Whee! Can you? The sun is low on the horizon. The sky is full of colour. The long day is nearly over and supper is finished. Gogo and Mama wash the dishes. Splish splash, splish splash. Senzo can wash dishes too. Splish splash, splish splash. Can you? The sun is dipping under the horizon, casting long shadows. Senzo is washed and full and tired. It's time to sleep, says Mama. She holds Senzo close and rocks. She hushes him. Shh, shh. Senzo can hush too. Shh, shh. Can you? The sun has done her work for the day and she's going to sleep. She pulls a blanket of darkness over herself to keep warm. The sun dreams. Senzo can dream too. Can you? The end. Scared Tumi by Mohali Mashigo at Book Dash. My name is Tumi and I am scared. Mama says it's okay to be scared. Everybody gets scared. What if there is a monster under my bed? Then I will tell it to go away and never come back. What if there are eyes in the bathtub drain? Then your big sister Camo will pull you out of the bath. What if a whale swallows me at the beach? Then Camo and I will swim into that whale's mouth to rescue you. What if I can't sing ABC and the other kids laugh at me? Then Teacher Jill will help you remember. What if I'm scared of going to the dentist tomorrow? I will be right there holding your hand. Everybody gets scared. Mama says it's okay. The end. Mogau's Gift by Lerato Troc at Book Dash. Batlong Village was a dull African village where nothing interesting had happened before. Until one day when an unusual child was born. Baby Mogau had a full set of teeth. Local villagers flocked to Mama Mogau's home to witness this miracle. With his big smile, Mogau brought happiness to the village. Soon, Mogau's parents realised he was a gifted child. By the time he was 6 months old, he could walk, read books, and paint pictures. Mogau painted the same picture over and over. His mother realised that they needed to find the place in his paintings. They left the village and started their journey. The villagers who loved Mogau's smile decided to follow them. They travelled for many days, walking through forests, over streams, and past big mountains. Finally, they reached Mogau's special place. It looked exactly like his paintings. They got to work setting up a new village, a village where everyone was happy. When Mogau was old enough, he became the king of this colourful village. Mogau's kingdom of happiness grew and became known near and far. He was the king who made his people smile. The end. Miss Tiny Chef by Linda Nabasa at Book Dash. Kasani is 8 years old. She loves to cook. She reads a cookbook on the school bus every morning and before bedtime. Nobody knows her secret, that she sleeps with a wooden mingling stick every night. When she sleeps, she dreams that she is smiling, wearing a chef's hat and holding her mingling stick high up in the air. Cassini loves to sing as she cooks. She sings to the carrots and dances with the flour. She slices the cucumber and places 2 on top of her eyes. She bangs the saucepans loudly as she jumps up and down. "Get back to work," the stick scolds. "Cooking is not work, it's fun," Cassini laughs. The stick tells her if the soup needs more salt, if the chicken needs more heat, and when the ugali is ready to eat. Sometimes Cassini doesn't listen to the stick. "I will use my palm to taste the soup," she says. "I will use my mouth to taste the chicken," she decides. The stick laughs, for she is young and it is old. Older than the cutlery in the house, older than Cassini's older brother. So old it knows all the great recipes by heart. Cassini adds more salt, pepper and curry powder to the soup. This is wrong and she knows it, but she is only being stubborn. The stick doesn't like being disrespected. It changes colour from brown to red to show Cassini that it is angry. "The soup will burn without the mingling stick," moans Cassini. She sings for the stick, but there is no change. "I am sorry," she says. The stick turns back to brown just in time, and Cassini hugs it in joy. "Now I can serve Mummy the food I made," Cassini says excitedly. "The food we made," she giggles as she tucks the stick away. The end. Mina and the Birthday Dress by Ndidi Chiazo Enenmo at Bookdash. Tomorrow is Mina's birthday. She is having a party in the garden. Mina is going to the shops with Mum to buy a birthday dress. "I want a blue dress," Mina says. Mum finds a lovely blue dress. Mina shakes her head. "I don't want a blue dress." "I want a pink dress," Mina says. Mum shows her a beautiful pink dress. Mina folds her arms. "I don't want a pink dress." "I want a green dress," Mina says. Mum holds out a pretty green dress. Mina frowns. "I don't want a green dress." Mum says, "You don't want a blue dress, you don't want a pink dress, and you don't want a green dress. What about this dress?" Mina says, "Yes, I love yellow. I want the yellow dress." The end. Marley's Friend by Rujeko Moyo at Bookdash. Marley enjoys playing by himself. He likes to be a pilot, swooshing around the house with his paper plane. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Then a taxi driver, hooting around the yard with his wire car. Beep, beep, beep. Marley never goes out to play with others. Gogo says, "Marley, go out and play Ibhola with the others." But Marley does not enjoy himself. Gogo says, "Marley, look, the children are playing Ibhathi. Go out and play." Marley tries again, but he does not enjoy himself. Gogo tries one more time. "Marley, go out and play Mafonsolana with the others." Once again, Marley tries. He does not enjoy himself. There is a knock on the door. Co. It's Lasidi from next door. She has come to play. Marley is shy. He does not know how to play with Lasidi. Lasidi asks him if he would like to make mud pies and cakes. They make mud pies and cakes, and even pancakes and biscuits. Marley enjoys himself very much. Lasidi comes back again. She shows Marley how to play Ingedo. Marley has trouble throwing, moving and catching the stones, but he gets better at the game. Marley enjoys himself very much. Marley then shows Lasidi how to make a paper plane. They go all around the house swooshing their planes. Oh, they laugh a lot. Marley asks Lasidi, "Can I come to your house to play tomorrow?" "Of course you can," she laughs. The next morning, after gobbling down his porridge, Marley takes out his wire car. "Where are you going, Marley?" asks Gogo. "I'm going out to play with Lasidi," he laughs. The end. The New Road by Fiske Sera Nirongo at Bookdash. Chapansy and her best friend Luano love collecting inswa. They love to play on the old dirt road, even if Mama would tisk-tisk because the stones hurt her feet. One day, big cars arrive. Mama calls them caterpillars. They cover the road in black stuff. Mama calls it tar. The road is smooth now, like walking on a mattress. But when Chapansy and Luano go to the road to catch inswa, they only catch 3. Chapansy used to love playing Chiotto with Luana, but there are no more stones on the road to play with. Chapansy is worried. What if the inswa can't breathe anymore? Chapansy kicks the road. Chapansy goes to Mama. "Don't be sad, my child. Inswa will always find a way out," she says. One rainy day, Luano comes running to Chapansy's house. "Inswa is back! Inswa is back! It defeated the road. Mama was right after all." The end. Teju's Shadow by Soap Martins at Bookdash. What's that? Teju hides. It won't find me here. He runs. Why are you following me? Leave me alone. Go away. Go away. Go away. Teju, what are you doing? It won't go away. Your shadow? It follows me everywhere. It's like a super secret spy. Well, there's one way to make a shadow disappear. Mama! Later that night in Teju's bedroom, the light goes off. And then on, and off, and on. Teju can't sleep. Click, 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 click. What's wrong, Teju? It only goes away in the dark, but I'm scared of the dark. Mum gives Teju a big hug. Do you want to see something amazing? Oh, ha! Mum and Teju make shadow puppets until he falls asleep. After school, Teju waits for Mum. I'm bored. Teju stands up, he jumps, he dances. His shadow does the same. Cool! When he goes to bed that night, Teju leaves his nightlight on. Good night, Shadow. The end. Thank you for reading with Storyberries.com. Free stories for kids.